All right, that's not so bad. It's not as bad as completing the square, is it? I don't think so. Uh-oh. Darn it. In part C, we have something that looks weird. 2 plus 1 over x squared equals 4 over x. Quick quiz question. What can x not be? 0. Yeah. So if you got an answer of 0 when you solve this, you'd throw it out. All right, so this is what we call a rational equation. So this is, a throwback question. A throwback to the good old days of chapter 6, I think it was. So what do we do? What's the first thing we do usually with a rational equation? What do we want to get rid of? So we have 2 plus 1x, 1 over x squared equals 4 over x. What do we get? Do you guys like fractions? Most people don't. So what do we do when we're messing with equations with fractions in them? Yeah, we clear the denominators by multiplying through by what? What's the LCD between x squared and x? X squared. So we're going to multiply both sides by x squared. And then on the left side, you have to distribute the x squared. You guys tell me, what does that give me? When I distribute that x squared? 2x squared plus 1. Yeah, because when you distribute the x squared here, it ends up in the numerator, right? And so you just have a plus 1 left on the left side. Okay, on the right side, 4 divided by x times x squared? Just 4x. Oh, and what kind of equation is that? It's a quadratic equation, which is why this problem is here, right? Okay, so think about what we have to do, if necessary, before we apply the quadratic formula. What do we have to do? Just like as if you were factoring. It's the same step as if you were going to factor the trinomial. Set it equal to 0. So that means in this case, what would be the easiest way to do that? Subtract 4x. So I'm going to subtract 4x and put it in the middle between the 2x squared and the plus 1. And that gets me, what, 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, write down the quadratic formula somewhere. I'm going to write it down over here. X is equal to negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm going to say it so many times today, you're going to have dreams about it tonight. Not that you necessarily want to dream about the quadratic formula, but hey. Okay, so fill it in. What is, let me go right here beneath the quadratic formula. What is a, oh no, let's just skip the step of writing down a, b, and c. You can identify it by looking at the equation. Let's just write down, let's just plug in the formula. What is the opposite of b? Does everybody see that b is actually negative 4? So when you plug it in, it's going to become, for the opposite of b, it's going to become positive 4. Does everybody see that? Plus or minus b squared. Let's just cut to the chase. What is b squared? What is negative 4 squared going to be? 16. Now, if you didn't want to cut to the chase, if you wanted to write negative 4 squared, this would be the wrong way to write it. Everybody look up. That would be the wrong way to write it, negative 4 squared. Why? Why is that the wrong way to write it? Because it really means the opposite of 4 squared, which is negative 16. If you want to write it that way, if you want to show that step, you got to put parentheses around the negative 4. But hey, isn't it way easier just to put 16? Yeah, so let's do that. So b squared is negative 4 squared is 16. Minus 4ac, minus 4 times, I'll actually write this part out, times 2. But c is 1, right? So do I really need to worry about that? No. If it's negative 1, you have to worry about it, but not if it's 1. And then all over 2a, what's 2a? 2 times 2 is 4. So this is really what you do when you plug it in. You do some of those arithmetic operations in your head when you're filling in the formula, and then you save yourself a step. Does everybody see what I did there? If you're not comfortable with that, then do it the way I did in the first 2 examples and write down every little detail until you get comfortable. Okay, so what do we end up with? We end up with x equals 4 plus or minus, what, 16 minus 8, which is, 16 minus 8, which is 8, right? Underneath that radical, all over 4. Well, I think that guy simplifies, doesn't it? So what does that what does the square root of 8 simplify to be? We simplified it a couple of times yesterday. Well, actually, we simplified the square root of negative 8 yesterday, so do it without the I in it, and then you'll have it, right? 2 root 2. Any explanation needed on that? Because 8 really is 4 times 2, right? Take the square root of 4 out, that's 2. So then, yeah, we can factor out a 2 on top. That's just a coincidence. Sometimes it'll be something different than 2. But you can factor out a 2 on top. What does that leave you with?
2 plus or minus 2.
Oh, careful. 2. You have 2 left from the 4, but then from the... Oh, darn it. Yeah, I forgot. I wrote that as 8, and I meant to write it as 2. Okay, and then you pull out that 2, so what's left?
Just root 2.
Just the root 2, right? There, that looks better. All over 4, right? And then how does that guy simplify? What do? 2 over 4 really reduces to 1 over 2, so you end up with lots of 2's. 2 plus or minus root 2 all over 2. There you go. Does that make sense? All right. How could you check your answer and know for a fact that you're right? Plug it in, and what little machine makes it really, really easy? A calculator. Let's do it. Let's check this answer using the calculator. First, we have to plug it in. Oh, and by the way, this is also showing you how to get approximate solutions, right? So in the numerator, put in parentheses around the numerator. So we'll go 2. We'll do the minus 1 first. So 2 minus, the one with the minus, not the minus 1. 2 minus root 2. And then make sure you have parentheses around that numerator all over 2, right? And then press enter, and then store that STO, store that as x. So 0.29, if you wanted to write down the approximate solution, I would go approximately 0.29 if you're going to 2 places past the decimal. So 2 possible solutions here, approximately 0.29. We don't have the other one yet, but I'll put an or there. And then I just want to check that before I find the other solution. So what I'll do is I'll go to the original equation, and let's type in the original equation with that saved solution x value, and we'll type in the left side, we'll type in the right side. They better be the same, right? If we did everything right. So let's go 2 plus 1 divided by x squared. Right? That's the left-hand side. And we get 13.65, blah, blah, blah. And then 4 divided by x, you might be worried, oh, how's that going to be 13? Well, remember, x is a decimal between 0 and 1. So it's 4 divided by a proper fraction or a decimal between 0 and 1 is going to be bigger than 4. There it is. So sweet, we know we're right. Okay, what's the other solution, the approximate solution, by the way? Well, you could just hit second function enter until you get back up. Keep hitting the second function enter until you get back up to that first solution you plugged in, and that so you don't have to type it in over again. Just go back to that minus, make it a plus, and about 1.707. And then, of course, you could check that pretty easily, too, because you could just store that, hit STO x, store that as x, and then press second function enter until you get to, let's go back until we get to the left-hand side of that equation. Well, you could do it on that one if you wanted to. Okay, 2.343 for the left side, and I guess it'd be easier to type in 4 divided by x, but what the heck. Hit second function enter. There's the right side, 2.343. You know you got the right answer, you guys. So you have a calculator. And by the way, you don't have to buy an expensive calculator to do it. You don't have to have a graphing calculator to do this. A $15, $20 calculator will do this stuff.